Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Gentoo.
Sorry for the week without us. Gentoo and Mother Nature are sorta in a fight right now.
She's doing everything she can to cancel us, like today. Every snow day has been on a day we film.
But enough about weather, we aren't Northwest News.
That's right, we're your favorite place for everything gaming and tech related.
That's right, so let's dive right into this week's news.
The classic Battle Royale game, PlayerUnknown's Battleground, or PUBG, has released their 2025 roadmap, so buckle in, we're gonna let this rip. Updated maps, unique events that will provide new experiences and challenges throughout the season, new items like camouflage nets for your vehicles, updated flare guns, updated natural and combat sounds, animals, new interactable objects such as exploding gas tanks and vending machines, sounds like Fortnite, new game modes, new collaborations, updated gunplay, reworks to ranked system, and a whole lot more. Check out the full video linked in the description below.
Rainbow Six Siege has revealed a massive update labeled Siege X. Scheduled to release June 10th, Siege X offers a slew of updates, including advanced repelling mechanisms, new environmental destruction, new operators, and a new 6v6 game mode named Dual Front. Dual Front features both attackers and defenders on the same team, and both teams are attempting to push neutral objectives to reach the enemy team's HQ. What more lies in store for Siege X is unknown, but we are excited to see what Ubisoft has in store for us.
Dang, I might have to pick Siege back up again. Assassin's Creed Shadows, the newest Assassin's Creed game in Ubisoft's repertoire, is set to release March 20th, so by the time you're seeing this, it's out. Already given an 8 out of 10 by IGN, fans are skeptical to see what Ubisoft has done with this new Assassin's Creed. But set in the feudal Japan, it is your mission to protect the Order against the omnipresent Templar Order. Make sure to catch Assassin's Creed Shadows when it releases on March 20th.
Neuralink has some competition. Synchron, another neurotech company, has partnered with NVIDIA to bring their newest brain-computer interface to life. At the NVIDIA GTC conference in California, Synchron demoed their interface with their trial participant, Rodney Gorham, a paralyzed man demonstrating being able to play music from a speaker, turn on a fan, pet feeder, lights, and robotic vacuum, all from the comfort of his chair. Using the Apple Vision Pro, he can look at objects in an environment and with a drop-down menu, select options of turning various objects around his house on.
I can't wait to get my own brain chip. After a 2-week round-trip mission went wrong, 2 American astronauts were left stranded on the ISS for over 9 months, but have now successfully returned home. Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore boarded a Boeing Starliner, a new craft designed to take astronauts into low Earth orbit quicker and easier. Back in June of 2024, when approaching the ISS, the Starliner's thrusters stopped working but still managed to dock with the ISS. With no return craft ready, it took over 9 months to get a rescue mission put together to gather the 2 astronauts and bring them back home safely. As if I didn't need another reason to not trust Boeing anymore.
And that just about wraps up our new segment for this week.
We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to not miss any more patch notes.
Now without any further ado, on to our shows.
Welcome back to Surviving Horror, the show where we take a look at different games in the horror genre and dissect what is the scariest aspect of each story, in my opinion. This week, we're taking a trip into the not-too-distant future of 2033 to talk about The Last of Us Part 1, released in 2013 and developed by Naughty Dog. Ever since the game's release, Sony and Naughty Dog have remastered the game multiple times. For this review, I will be using the footage from the 2022 PS5 remaster. While some people have disputed the status of The Last of Us as a horror game due to its cinematic storytelling, I would argue that it warrants being recognized as one of the strongest in the genre. The looming threat of the infected potentially being around every corner had me on edge throughout the game. What is even more memorable for me is that the clickers that you're avoiding throughout the game may not be the real threat of this world. It's the other survivors that scavenged what is left of it. In the world of The Last of Us, most of humanity has abandoned their morals. It is survival of the fittest in every sense of the word. which leads to what I found to be the scariest aspect of the game, the complete lack of humanity throughout the story. This applies to not only the survivors that are still alive, but how inhumane the cordyceps virus causes its host to become the longer that they are infected. Early on in the game, you witness the outbreak with Joel and his family, and at the end of the sequence, you get an idea for how brutal and dark the rest of the game will be as you watch him lose his entire world, and a part of his humanity goes with it. Despite Joel being the protagonist, he's not necessarily the good guy. Yes, he acts as the protector to Ellie, but throughout the game, Joel has to make decisions that get you to question his morals, and seeing how easily he makes these choices, it made me wonder about the horrible things that Joel has done in the 20 years that society has fallen apart.
So, you kill a lot of innocent people?
In the majority of post-apocalyptic centered media, it always seems like the best of humanity died when the world ended, but not many of them showcase that as well as The Last of Us. Nearly every survivor in this world seems hell-bent to take out our protagonists. And the most memorable of these awful people is David from the Winter chapter. The implications of his intentions with Ellie shows just how far the average person has fallen from grace. But the constant presence of this world is the cordyceps virus, and witnessing what it does to its hosts. Every member of the infected is a story of how long they have been sick, and how little of them is left. As you creep up behind a runner, you can faintly hear them losing themselves as this virus corrupts their brain. But that humanity is completely gone the longer that the infected stays alive, eventually resulting in a fate worse than death. The Last of Us is one of the most critically acclaimed video games of all time. It won over 200 Game of the Year awards and spawned a sequel in 2020, as well as a television show with a second season releasing this year. If you have played The Last of Us, please let us know what you think of it down below. Check back with us next week as we travel to Silent Hill. This has been Jake Walker with Surviving Horror.
Running since 1971, broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Featuring programs and news from National Public Radio, as well as Americana, jazz, and classical music. KXCV 90.5 FM Maryville, KNRW 88.9 FM Chillicothe.
Hey Tyrell, why don't you tell everyone what we do here?
But yeah, of course, because here at Alternatives and Options, we find uncommon solutions to common problems. For instance, did you know that tinfoil could be used as an alternative to batteries?
Our goal is to find the most effective, efficient, and affordable options for you.
Whether we're in the lab,
So how much do you really know about laundry detergent? Or on the field? We'll do our best
to give you the best
alternatives and options.
Back to the Easter egg collection. I am the Easter egg collector, and please excuse me for my informal attire. It is laundry day, which allows me to do something a little bit different. Usually I'd show you a couple of Easter eggs from a game and then that'd be it. But I want to tell you what Easter eggs can do for communities in video games. And I think a great example of that would be Call of Duty Zombies and what spawned of the Zombies community. Let's jump into that. What started as just a measly passion project didn't make its debut until 2008 with the release of Call of Duty World at War. In order to play it, you had to beat the main campaign. Then you were thrown into an abandoned building with nothing left but your pistol to fight against the endless hordes of zombies. What it was just a horde survival shooter where you just survive as long as you can. And that's what the fun start is. How long can you survive? How many rounds can you go? That was the most bare bones of the zombies mode. And as that, it grew and evolved. It wasn't until Black Ops 1 Ascension is when they gave us their first main quest Easter egg. It would, by completing the Ascension main quest, you'd be rewarded with a 90-second death machine, which was lasted a lot longer than a normal death machine would. What spawned from Ascension were a new set of zombies players. Not ones who would go for the high rounds, but ones who would hunt the Easter eggs. They loved the storytelling and the lore of the zombie story, where they would go in and analyze the zombies' maps to see what kind of storytelling and lore they would give. It wasn't until Black Ops 2 release of Origins when the zombies community was rewarded for their efforts with a cutscene that would play at the end of once completing the Easter egg. And this is when they just came together and hunt for that cut to get that reward of a cutscene was amazing. Is what I loved about this community, just coming together, helping one another, trying to get to this end goal of the cutscene to reward them to help enhance the storyline. Thanks for joining me on this journey throughout just zombies history to see how just an Easter egg can spawn an entire community of people, of gamers. And we should be going back to what we usually do once my laundry is done, though. I think that time is now, so see you next week.
So you want to know how to be creative? I think I know some people.
Here at KNWT,
we know a thing or two about creativity.
Whether that be weekly shows, promos, or social media,
we got you covered.
We write, film, and edit to bring creativity to all of our work.
I mean, our national awards speak for themselves.
So if you want to know how to be creative,
we can show you.
Creative Services.
Welcome back to another episode of GTA Insight. Today we'll review some of the different drift cars that I own and often drive. Since some of these names are hard to pronounce, I will list the real-life model of what the car is. First up, we have the Mercedes-Benz W124, listed for $1,790,000. I like this car because it has an old-school mobster look that I absolutely love. This is also the reason the colorway I went with is black on black. This car is decent at drifting, however there are a couple downsides. One is that the car is long and feels like you're driving a boat when you're trying to turn it. The other is that it adds these things on the trunk that you can't hide or remove when you apply the drift tune to the car. Overall, I would rank this an 8 out of 10. Next, we have the Hoonigan Drift Mustang for $995,000. Besides the car being owned by Hoonigan himself, there isn't much else special about this vehicle in-game. This car is super heavy, hard to control, and like the Mercedes-Benz, it's super long even though it's just a coupe. Because of this, I only really call this car out because of the F1 tires I've modded onto it that make it look super wide-bodied. Overall, I would rank this car about a 4 out of 10. It's a super cool concept to add this car to the game, but at least make it worth driving. Next, I have the Nissan Silvia S13 Coupe for $1,027,500. This car has some of the coolest modifications for any car in the game. Not only can you remove the rear bumper and add ridiculously long exhaust pipes, but you can also see through the hood and peek at your engine. This might all sound great, but Rockstar is just adding another car that looks cool but lacks in performance. This car sucks at turning and holding turns. All the car wants to do is accelerate instead of drift. I would rank this another 4 out of 10. Really cool looks, but horrible performance. Next, I have one of my favorite drift cars, the Toyota Supra for $1,477,500. This car is great not only for the looks, but for the slow, precise turns and performance. When you are drifting, both of those attributes are extremely helpful at hitting some pretty cool clips. Only thing I would say that would be bad about this car is drifting uphill. Since it doesn't add too much power in the acceleration, it struggles uphill sometimes. Overall, I would rank this an 8 out of 10. Lastly, I have my personal favorite car to use for drifting, the Mazda RX-7 for $1,211,250. The reason this car is my favorite is because of the size, performance, colorway, and overall feel. When you're driving this car, you feel every turn that you take and really get comfortable with it. It's not only good going downhill, but uphill as well. Overall, I would rate this car a 10 out of 10. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of GTA Insight. Tune in next week for more GTA content, and have a great week.
Thank you for tuning in to this week of Gentoo. We're your favorite place for all things gaming and tech related.
If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss another episode of Gentoo, weather permitting, of course.
We'll see you all next time.